All right. Hello, Pacific Northwest Tea Clubbers, and welcome to the Call to Convention webinar. It will now begin. My name is Isabel Yu, and I'm currently the Lieutenant Governor of Division 33 and serve as the chair for the District Convention Committee. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to attend this webinar. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to other members of the 2021 to 2022 District Convention Committee. So now that you have already met me, I'll pass it on to Riley to introduce herself first.
Hello, my name is Riley Alcobendis, and I serve as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 44 and the Secretary for the District Convention Committee.
Hi everyone, my name is Kazuma. I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Division 27, and I'm super excited for today.
Hi everybody, my name is Leilani Vallejo, and I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Division 1936.
Hi, my name is Paige Olson, and I'm the Lieutenant Governor of Division 2224.
Hi guys, my name is Victoria Plum, and I serve as the Lieutenant Governor of Division 35.
All right, before we move on to the agenda, let's hear from everyone else in this webinar. In the chat, please type what you're most excited about for DCON 2022. All right, so Riley is excited to see people, excited to meet people in person, having in-person DCON, yes. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of meeting new people, having it in person, spirit battles, excited to see all my other PNW Tea Clubbers meeting people, the electric environments, workshops, definitely in person. It's awesome. Okay, awesome masquerade theme. Awesome, awesome. In person, yes. I'm seeing a common theme of having an in-person DCON, and that's what a lot of people are excited about. So I hope that you can gain more information and after this webinar, get more excited about DCON this year. All right, so let's first review the agenda for tonight's webinar. First, we will be presenting the Call to Convention video. Then Riley and Kazuma will go over convention logistics. Victoria, Paige, Leilani, and I will be going over awards, contests, before handing it back to Kazuma to go over the spirit stick. Next, we will be hearing from past DCON attendees about their personal experience. And finally, you will have a chance to ask any questions at the end. So be sure to note your questions throughout the webinar because you'll have a chance at the end to ask them. Now that we've covered the agenda, let's watch the Call to Convention video created by our district editor, Rachel Hagen.
All right. Hello again, everyone. This is Riley Alcabendis, Division 44 Lieutenant Governor, here to give you the 101 on DCON. Since we haven't experienced a fully in-person DCON for 2 years now, I wouldn't be surprised if the question on a lot of your minds was, what is DCON? To begin, the District Convention, or DCON for short, is PNW Key Club's largest annual event. It is a fun, action-packed weekend where more than 2,000 Key Clubbers from 160 clubs come to celebrate a year of impactful service for the communities they serve. Not only is DCON a time of celebration, but it's also an opportunity for members to network, develop leadership skills, and focus on self-improvement. Something that makes DCON especially unique is the fact that it's led and attended by high school service leaders just like you. At DCON, you'll be able to attend a diverse range of workshops, receive officer training, participate in spirit battles, elect the new district executive officers, and more. At DCON, there is something special for everyone to take part in. Now, I'll go ahead and hand it off to Kazuma for an overview of the DCON 2022 schedule.
Thanks, Riley. Hello, PNW Key Clubbers. My name is Kazuma Tagaki, and I serve as the Division 27 Lieutenant Governor. So, as you may know, this year's DCON will be held March 11th through 13th as a hybrid event, with the majority of the attendees being in person at the Oregon Convention Center in Portland, Oregon. Speaking of in-person attendees, everyone who registers for DCON must provide proof of vaccination, sign a COVID-19 liability waiver, and agree to wear a facial covering at all times unless actively eating or drinking. Now that we've discussed some of the COVID-19 safety protocols, let's review the schedule, which we're super excited to share. The district board is working hard to make it more fun and interactive than ever before. On Friday, attendees will arrive at the convention center around 3 and will have some time to check in, meet other Key Clubbers, grab dinner, and participate in our meet and greet, which includes several fun activities like ping pong and an obstacle course. At 5:45, the doors to open session will open and the virtual attendees will be able to access the program. After the opening session, everyone will attend the caucus or personal development seminars. During this time, advisors will also attend a reception, and interested Key Clubbers will have an opportunity to show off their talents and oratorical skills during their talent auditions. Once these events conclude, you will have some time to interact, socialize, and settle down until curfew at 12:30 a.m. On Saturday, we'll kick things off with breakfast, followed by a mega forum. The mega forum will feature a special presenter that will help kickstart the day and focus on ways you can personally help strengthen the member experience in your Key Club. Following the mega forum, everyone will attend workshops of their choice. There will be over 35 workshops to choose from, topics including new officer training, mental health, diversity, equity, and inclusion, large service project planning, hosting effective fundraisers, speed mingling, and so much more. In between the workshop sessions, there will be a break to eat lunch, meet admission representatives from several colleges and universities in our exhibit hall, and of course, a spirit battle or two. During lunch, the House of Delegates will also be convening to elect the 2022-2023 executive officers. This means if you're a delegate, you will be attending this session to vote on behalf of your club. Once workshops conclude, we will change into professional attire to get ready for dinner, closing session, and the governor's ball. And closing session will wrap up DCON.
All right, so now that we know what DCON is and what you can expect DCON to look like this year, let's go ahead and discuss what's included in the cost of registration. This year, DCON registration will be $295 for in-person attendees and $85 for virtual attendees who are unable to attend in person because of either health concerns or school restrictions on overnight field trips. Both registration options will provide you exclusive access to DCON 2022 merch, which includes a service and secret themed t-shirt, tote bag, pin, and lanyard, as well as access to all of the speakers and workshops DCON has to offer. Now let's take a closer look at the exclusive DCON merch, which features this year's winning logo designed by Delaney Mock from Division 66. So as you can see, the front of the t-shirt features a black and gold design with a large mask in the center, and the back incorporates the same elements to display the divisions of the PNW district. This design is simple yet elegant, definitely emulating the masquerade theme of service in secret. The tote bag will have the same design as the front of our theme t-shirt, and on the pin, you get to see Morty wearing a tuxedo, holding up a mask, ready for the masquerade. The in-person registration fee will also cover the cost of your hotel room and most meals. A grab-and-go dinner will be provided Friday evening during registration and meet and greet. Delegates will also receive a light snack after caucusing is completed. On Saturday, breakfast and lunch will be provided, while Saturday dinner and Sunday morning breakfast will not be provided. All in-person attendees must stay on site for the duration of the convention, including those who live in the Portland area, as this helps ensure the health and safety of all attendees and will allow everyone to take advantage of everything DCON has to offer. Now I'll pass it on to Isabel to discuss our awards and contests.
Thanks, Riley. Now I will be going over awards and contests you can win at DCON 2022. So here is an overview of how the process will work. First, all clubs will have to submit an annual achievement report to determine if members qualify for an award. Next, there will be a two-step process for applying for each award. You will be requested to fill out the specific application for the award you're applying for through Google Forms after registering your club first. The overall structure for all the individual awards will look like this. First, you'll have the personal and club information section. Second, the attendance section, which will require you to access your attendance records. And finally, virtual signatures of the club presidents. The second part of the application process entails a 200-word letter nominating letter. The nominator requirements vary for different awards, so make sure to pay close attention to the criteria listed in the Google Form applications. The letter needs to be sent to awards@pnwkeyclub.org in PDF format. Once sent, you will receive an email confirming that the nomination letter has been received. Letters exceeding 200 words and those that are late will not be accepted. All award applications are due by Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. The first section of the application can take up to 30 to 40 minutes to complete, and the second section can take up to 2 weeks. To ensure your application and nomination letter are of the best quality, we recommend you beginning your application as soon as possible. Please note that all our awards are designed to recognize recipients that embody the Key Club vision statement and core values, those being leadership, character building, caring, and inclusiveness. As a reminder, the due date for all the awards is Tuesday, February 1st, 2022 at 11:59 p.m. Award applications will open on Friday, October 15th, 2021 when DCON registration goes live. Do not put off the awards till the last minute. I will now hand it off to Victoria, who will be giving an overview of the individual awards and contests.
Awesome. Thanks for the overview, Isabel. Let's move on to individual awards. There are a variety of individual awards available at DCON. These would have the word outstanding in them when looking at the list. This means that officers, members, faculty advisors, and Kiwanis advisors can be recognized individually for their contributions during the 2021-2022 year. Personal and club information, attendance records, nomination letters, signatures, and DCON attendance are among the general prerequisites for the awards. Each award contains role-specific criteria that are taken into account when determining the final score. Here are the details. The Outstanding Club President Award criteria includes on-time submission of dues, holding club elections before February 1st, service projects for preferred charities, and joint projects with the Kiwanis family. The Outstanding Club Vice President Award criteria includes a letter of support highlighting the leadership and initiative displayed, especially in situations where the club president is unable to carry out their duties. The Outstanding Club Secretary Award criteria comprises assessing completed meeting minutes in addition to having submitted 10 secretary reports on time. The Outstanding Club Treasurer Award criteria consists of the timely submission of dues payments, assessment of submitted club budget, and financial reports. The Outstanding Club Editor Award criteria takes into account the quality and number of publications created. The Outstanding Club Webmaster criteria includes submitting the club website for evaluation and the number of promotional materials created. The Outstanding Kiwanis Advisor Award criteria consists of assessing the quality of support provided to the Key Club and submission of the annual achievement report. The Outstanding Faculty Advisor Award criteria includes assessing the quality of support provided to the Key Club and the signatures of the school principal, Kiwanis advisor, and the club president. Lastly, the Malcolm Lewis Outstanding Member Award criteria includes a log of service hours, a signed subjective evaluation by the club executive board, and a letter of support highlighting the member's contribution. Paige is now going to walk us through the club awards and contests.
Thank you, Victoria. Next, I want to talk with you all about some awards and contests that your clubs can collectively compete in. I cannot encourage you enough to apply for these awards, because not only will it be fun to see how your club stacks up against others and help you gain recognition, but also it'll be a great chance to be inspired by what other clubs are accomplishing. This is definitely a great opportunity to get back into that Key Club spirit and motivation that your club may have lost during the COVID year. Here are the 8 awards and contests that your club can participate in for this year's district convention. The Distinguished Club Award, 6 for 65 Award, Service Hours Award, Club Membership Growth Award, Club Website Contest, and Club T-shirt Contest. We will also be honoring district project contributions with 2 separate awards this year. The Club District Project Service Hours Award, honoring service hours contributed to the district project, and the Club District Project Fundraising Award. These are all awards your club is potentially eligible for, and I really encourage you to look into them because they are rather simple in terms of completing the applications. Now I'll pass it on to Leilani to talk about international awards.
Thank you, Paige. The next category of awards we will be covering are the Key Club International Awards. Here's the rundown. The international awards are the Single Service Award, Major Emphasis Award, Club Poster Contest, Club Video Contest, the Year in Review Contest, which is for scrapbooks, the Oratorical or Speech Contest, and finally the Talent Contest. First, to apply, you will need to submit the awards at DCON, and then the judges will determine whether or not you qualify at the international level. Talent and oratorical auditions will take place in person at DCON on Friday, March 11th. One award I would like to highlight is the Single Service Award. I know that so many of you have held some excellent service projects this year, and I have been super creative even with COVID-19 restrictions during the last school year. I would love for you guys to apply and receive recognition for your outstanding projects. Applying for these awards will help ensure your club's hard work and dedication will not go unnoticed. Thank you for listening to the overview of these awards, and now moving on to something I know you are all excited for, because I sure am. I'll pass it off to Kazuma with the Spirit Stick.
You don't know what the Spirit Stick is? The division which showcases the most spirit, energy, and passion throughout the convention will have the honor to take home the Spirit Stick of DCON 2022. You can show spirit by wearing attire designed by your division, showcasing a lot of energy, constantly being active on socials, and more. You'll see many spirit battles during DCON, and this is a great way to show off your spirit.
Awesome. Thanks, Kazuma, for going over the Spirit Stick. I hope to see a lot of spirit at DCON this year. Now we will be hearing from selected past in-person attendees, DCON attendees, about their personal experiences. You will also have an opportunity to ask questions after the structured questions, so please have them ready. All right, let's meet the panelists. Joining us on the panel today is District Governor Alice Lee, International Trustee Subhashri Venkata Subramanian, Club President from Auburn Riverside High School, Caitlin Dang, and Club Secretary from Union High School, Hannah Yim. Panelists will go in the same order as they were announced. All right, so let's get started with our first question. What was your in-person DCON experience like?
I guess I'm up first. Hi guys, my name is Alice Lee, and in case you don't know me, I'm serving as your district governor for the 2021 through 2022 service year. My first DCON and the last DCON that I was able to be at was DCON 2019 as a freshman. I was one of very few freshmen from our school that attended DCON because it was in Seattle, Washington. But overall, it was a pretty life-changing experience. I would say that the scope of Key Club and the enthusiasm for service that I have now definitely would not have sparked had I not attended DCON. I think being part of that larger community is really what inspired me to be part of Key Club as a greater part of my life, and being surrounded by so many spirited service leaders was definitely inspiring, and I imagine it would be the same for you as well. So shortly, in one word, I would say that my in-person DCON experience was very, very positive.
Okay, I guess I can go off of that. So I totally agree with what Alice was saying. My first in-person DCON experience was also DCON 2019, and it was super impactful. It really helped me visualize the scale of our district. Before then, I was a newly elected freshman officer, and I didn't really know the district level of our Pacific Northwest other than that we were the Pacific Northwest district, but I didn't have any visualization of what that was. But going to DCON and getting to see everyone and just the amount of spirit that they exhibited was really, really inspiring and motivating for me to continue and use that energy as a newly elected officer and bring it into what my club was doing.
So going off of what Suba and Alice both said, I completely agree. The last DCON I went to was 2019 as a freshman, and it was amazing for me. And although I was only able to attend that DCON my freshman year because of COVID, it's an experience that I don't think I'll ever forget. I was a brand new member of Key Club, and going to DCON actually inspired me to run for an officer position for my sophomore year, and it led me to continue on in Key Club. And I think that seeing all the workshops, the presentations, they showcased how much of an impact that we as Key Clubbers are capable of making in the world. And the innies and outie ceremonies, those were all very impactful experiences, and it made me realize that Key Club was going to be one of my passions in my high school career.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a secretary from Division 44. So the first and last DCON I went to was 2019, so I was also a freshman. I was a completely new member to Key Club, and I wasn't really sure like what I wanted to do in high school. But I think like attending DCON like halfway through my freshman year really put things into perspective for me and like helped me figure out like what I want to do. It was an overall like extremely positive experience, and I got to like feel a sense of like the Key Club community and how important unity and community is to our different clubs. So I think it was overall a fun experience, but also a really educational experience because of all the workshops and all the things I was able to learn.
All right, our next question is, how did attending DCON help improve your club?
I'd have to say DCON is a really special place to be. I think depending on the type of person you are and what you're looking for from the event, you can really take away exactly what you want to take away, just because there is so much for everyone. And so I'd have to say that DCON helped improve our club in several different ways. I think people that were really looking for a social or spirit incentive to be around lots of people and to have a community to be a part of really felt that solidarity and spirit at DCON. And I think people that were looking for personal and professional development opportunities were really able to utilize and take advantage of the workshops that were available at DCON and take away a lot from those as well. I'd also say that attending DCON oftentimes helps with sustained member engagement. You'll see that the members that attend DCON earlier on in their Key Club careers will oftentimes stay in the organization for much longer, and they're much more energized to complete more service, and they're much more energized to do better service throughout their Key Club time, just because they were able to see the larger whole that they were a part of, and a lot of the time that is really energizing for people. I'd have to say that DCON at our club specifically really helped to raise a group of strong servant leaders that continued on in our organization until they graduated recently. So I'd have to say energy would be the major factor that helps improve clubs after attending DCON.
Yeah, I completely agree with Alice. You can definitely see an improved like amount of energy, especially as you're heading into the last part of the school year, coming right out of DCON from all the members who got to attend. And also from my personal experience going into DCON as a newly elected officer, I can say that for any newly elected officers who are attending DCON, it's incredibly helpful and it really helps you get a better understanding of your role because there are workshops specifically on officer training. So not only can you get training from the workshops, but you can meet a lot of other officers in your same position. And it's like very specific, like there's the interactions and getting to meet those people who are going through kind of the same experience of you as being newly elected and going into their position. I know also as an officer, I was able to get a better scale of like service project ideas and just learning things from a lot of other clubs from all across the district. So I think that educational factor is also a great way that DCON helps improve clubs.
Both the energy and education were really important in DCON, but just like my experience, I feel like so many members went to DCON and then they came back even more inspired after seeing how much like how worldwide it is, because they don't realize how big Key Club is until they finally go to the convention and see that there's so many other people in the same community. And I feel like members also came back from DCON and shared their experiences with those who couldn't or weren't able to go. And it kind of turned DCON into an incentive for next year, as a reward for like a year's worth of hard work and community service.
Yeah, so I think what makes a club like function really well is like a very tight knit and like functioning officer team. So it's like even now, I look back on like what I learned at DCON, and it really helps me like be a better secretary for my club, because I went into DCON very like introverted and I didn't know how to talk to people. But like once I was able to like create better connections with people and just create more connections overall, it was very like, I think it just gave me like this moment of realization, and it helped like inspire me to be a better officer for my club and serve my club. But also like the other people said, like it's very like educational and everyone was able to take things away. And the group that went that year with me was mostly seniors. So me and the other freshmen that were on there were able to take what we learned and put that back into our club.
Awesome. Our third question is, who was your favorite presenter and what did you learn?
I vividly remember being in, I believe it was one of the largest workshop rooms that they had at the time. And it was about, it was a varsity leadership workshop. I don't remember what it was called, but the presenter's name, it wasn't Chris Niles' one, it was Sahil Punamia's workshop. And it was about how to be more of an effective leader and how to reprioritize your goals with your team. And I guess I'm sort of bleeding into the next question here, but I really enjoyed that presenter and that workshop just because of how engaging he was, and how he was able to utilize bits and pieces of his personal life and be able to be really was able to connect to the audience very well and keep them engaged. It was a really long day. We had come from several other workshops before. And so being part of a workshop where everyone was kind of chewing on the same concepts and really reflecting on their own leadership and absorbing the energy that the presenter was giving out, really helped with kind of recharging myself for the rest of the day and also inspiring me to move on throughout the year. As a freshman and as a newly elected freshman officer that had only served half a term before going to DCON, I think getting to have that really high level evaluation and reflection on my own leadership and how I interacted with other people was really helpful to how I approached the beginning of the rest of my service year and the rest of my term and the time that I had in front of me. And so I'd have to say Sahil was my favorite presenter. He also happened to be the keynote speaker at Key Club Days 2019. So if any of you guys were there at Key Club Days South 2019, you might remember him as well.
Okay, mine was also a workshop presenter. It was two of the newly elected lieutenant governors for the district board in 2019. One of them was my to-be Audi Abdullah, and then I think it was Kira Ryan who was presenting with them, and they did a workshop presentation on service projects, and it was how to hold a large service project. And I remember for me, it was a really interesting workshop, and it was very, very helpful. It was like the information that I desperately needed as an officer, and I got to learn a lot about facilitating larger events. And we also had a section in the workshop where we got to interact with other clubs and learn about what large events they had done and how they went about setting that up. So it was really practical and I learned a lot from it.
My favorite presenter was, I remember vividly, Stan Pearson from the Mega Forum at DCON 2019. He was very entertaining, educational, and interactive. I remember the audience was really into it. They were super engaged and enthusiastic after his keynote. I still remember his catchphrase too. It was, "You're good, you're great, you're worth it." And I still remember people like putting in their Instagram captions that exact phrase. And I feel like it resonated with everyone who was watching that speaker. And I'm pretty sure not only myself, but everyone in the audience learned the importance of self-love, self-confidence, and acceptance.
My favorite presenter was actually the same as Caitlin's. I do remember like I was sitting towards the front and I was like able to see his face and like see how expressive he was about like self-love, confidence, and all of that stuff. And I thought it was really important because like a lot of people our age, like everyone attending were teenagers. And I feel like at that age, it's so important to, you know, learn that stuff and have it almost like drilled into your head about how important being confident is and how hard it can be sometimes too.
Our next question is, what was your favorite workshop and why?
I kind of started to answer this one before. I really enjoyed that leadership workshop that Sahil had. So I'm going to answer this in a bit of an unconventional way. Another one of my favorite workshops was called How to Get a Date. It was one of the fun workshops that were offered at the end of Saturday, and it was hosted by Tina Chow and Daniel Huynh, who were at the time the lieutenant governors, the outgoing lieutenant governors of Division 65, which is where I'm from, and Division 66, which is like our neighboring sister division. Tina and Daniel are both really interesting, really fun people. And I think after a whole day of, well, actually after a weekend of pretty serious but inspiring get down to work leadership type stuff where we were really, you know, I had attended caucusing where we were listening to very comprehensive speeches about the future of the district. I was going to these leadership workshops about how to be a better leader. And then going to this one random fun workshop was a really fun breath of fresh air. Not only was the workshop hilarious, but it allowed me to get to know other people in the room in ways that you would never imagine. You get the opportunity to share jokes and laughs and fun times and spirit and energy with the people in the room. And it was just a really fun experience that you would never be able to have anywhere else. I know there were also several other fun workshops that were offered at the end of the day on Saturday, and I'm sure it will be the same this year. So I would really recommend taking a peek at some of those fun workshops and really attending those and getting your bang out of it, because they're actually really, really fun. And you really, out of all 4 years of high school, I have never been able to quite experience anything similar to what I did that day at that workshop. So I guess that would be my second favorite.
Okay, I also chose one of the fun workshops, and I think it's one of like the most famous workshops. So speed mingling. And so the year that I attended, which was 2019, we had Chris Park, who was the lieutenant governor from D56, and Sean Penjaran-Watana. I might be saying his last name wrong. I know it's hypocritical coming from me, but from Division 28. And they were both really great presenters, and they're like, I know we had Nathan and Tara do it last year, and it was just really fun because we got to meet so many key clubbers. And I'm counting this as part of the workshop, even though it was technically after. But I met Tara Mayepin, who was soon to be elected on our district board, the same board that I would serve on the next year as a lieutenant governor. And we both didn't know that we were going to be on the board together, obviously, in the future. But since we got to meet after speed mingling, we became friends then. And the connection that we started then got to continue when we served on the district board together. So it just shows that workshops like speed mingling, how to get a date, like Alice mentioned, they're really good for forming those key club connections. And you never know, like the key clubbers that you meet at one of the workshops might end up becoming someone who you'll work really closely with in the future. So I would say definitely take the opportunity and make those connections by attending some of those more geared towards meeting people and making connections type workshops.
So my favorite workshop was also speed mingling. Yeah, it's basically rotating between people, and you're given a few minutes to get to know each other and exchange contact information and socials. And I remember meeting so many key clubbers, and it was really fun to just be able to talk to people one-on-one because, like Alice said, most other workshops were serious and about leadership, and it's nice to have a break from that after a whole weekend of education. And you guys already have Key Club in common, so it's really easy to spark up more conversation from that. And it's always nice to meet new people, and speed mingling is the perfect opportunity. And like Suba said, the presenters were really entertaining and funny. I met a really good friend of mine, like in an elevator at DCON, and I did not expect that to happen, but I think it was because of speed mingling. I know we both went to that workshop, and then that made people realize, oh, you can just go up to people and ask for their Instagram and then get to know each other. So yeah, speed mingling was a great workshop. I'd really recommend it.
I feel like workshops like how to get a date and speed mingling also give you the opportunity to get to know people before the governor's ball, and that's really fun because sometimes you'll run into them on the dance floor and be like, hey, I remember you from speed mingling, your name was Michael, right? And I think that's also a really like surreal, exciting experience.
Yeah, so one of my favorite workshops was definitely speed mingling for pretty obvious reasons, like how Caitlin was talking about, like just exchanging like socials and stuff like that. But I also really liked it was a workshop for one of the officer positions. It was for webmaster, I think. And it's one of my favorites for like unexpected reasons, mostly because as much as I hate to admit it, but it helped me realize I didn't want to be a webmaster. So it kind of like pushed me into like the direction of like what I actually wanted in my future. Cause I was like, I was a completely new member to Key Club. I had no idea what I wanted to do. And like, I was a freshman in high school, so I didn't know what I would want to do like after high school either. So it was just like, I think it really helped me figure out like what I wanted in my life more.
All right, our next question is, in your opinion, what was the most memorable moment from DCON?
There's so many. I think if you sat me down and asked me to recount like every single moment from DCON from start to finish, I might actually be able to do it. Like from the moment I like got out of, like from that morning that we were driving up to Seattle up to like when we came down, just because it was such an important weekend for me. I'd have to say, I like to tell people that the most memorable moment from DCON for me would have to be listening to Governor Ingrid's farewell speech. I remember it was firstly, it was a very moving speech. They play like sad music and stuff too as everyone's retiring and everyone's crying, and it's so emotional. And having been a freshman, I obviously couldn't necessarily like emotionally relate to or connect to the people that were crying or understand it, but being able to see all of those people retire and being able to see how closely connected to the organization and the work that they had done for the past year was really, really powerful, and it was really moving. And so listening to Ingrid's farewell speech, which was themed around the hero's journey, which is it's a literary trope about her own progression as an officer into eventually becoming district governor and serving her term and being able to retire her term and pass off to Justin, who was her innie, was really, really, really moving. And I remember being there, and we were all really tired, and we were excited for the governor's ball, and we were kind of, a lot of the people in my row were waiting for this entire thing to be over. But I was sitting there and I was listening to Ingrid talking about her failures and her successes and how impactful Key Club has been in her life. And I just remember thinking and looking up at those executive officers and thinking to myself, those people are so amazing and they're so untouchable. And, they are so larger than life for people that are in high school. And that's a really inspiring moment. That's a really energizing moment. And that's a really powerful moment for a student as a freshman to see of upperclassmen. I think being able to see someone eye to eye with a peer, but also be able to respect them in a way is a really important force in your high school career that can really drive you forward. And I think that was really the moment that inspired me to be more passionate and more dedicated to Key Club and eventually get to where I stand today. So I'd have to say that one. If anyone's interested in stories about the governor's ball, I have several of those, but those are less important than listening to Ingrid's fantastic farewell speech. I remember I was a freshman and I didn't even have as many ties to the organization as some of the other people in that room did, and that convention hall did, but I was still really emotional after her speech, and I definitely will never forget that feeling of awe.
I think with mine, it's kind of similar to Alice's. So it was when I got to attend the House of Delegates at DCON, and really like witnessing the candidates' speeches and seeing all of the work that they had put in during their Key Club journey. We got to look at the booklets and it lists everyone's Key Club accomplishments, and just seeing the dedication that every single candidate brought to the position, and also the current executives who had so much experience and dedication of their own really showed me a whole new side to Key Club. When I initially ran for vice president, I only ran because it was an unopposed position. And I just thought, might as well, because no one else is running. And after witnessing the House of Delegates and getting to see how much work other people put in, it inspired me to start putting in that work myself. And I think that is really what has continued to motivate me to run for higher office after running for district office and then international office eventually. It all traces back to getting to attend House of Delegates as a freshman. So that would definitely be the most memorable moment for me.
So like Alice said, I still remember like the bus ride to DCON. That was very fun too. But also like Alice, my favorite part was the closing session. After seeing so many people on stage crying because they were passing the positions down, and everyone knew that they would miss Key Club after how much hard work and dedication they put in after 4 years. 4 years, and everyone was crying and emotional. I looked around me, everyone was like crying their eyes out, and I didn't really understand as a freshman, like it's just a club. But after that experience, I got into Key Club more and became more dedicated, and now I understand why they were crying, because I know at DCON I will be crying at closing session. And there were heartfelt speeches like Ingrid's. It was a great speech, and closing session was a great experience. Also, the governor's ball was very memorable. It was really fun. It was just like homecoming, but more fun, I'd say, because you had met these people during the weekend and people were actually having fun, jumping up and down to the music. So yeah, those two, the governor ball and the closing session, were the most memorable parts for me.
I think the most memorable moment of decon for me would probably just be like when we got to like the actual convention center, because I remember we stopped by the hotel, we like checked in, dropped our bags off and everything, and we walked as a group to the convention center to like figure out where to go and like when the opening ceremony is going to start. And when we got in, everyone was holding these signs that said hug or like free hugs. And I thought that was so funny. So like that was like that beginning to my weekend was like probably just like where I just stood there and I was like, okay, this is actually happening. Because like I was more introverted too. So I was like very scared of like having to meet new people and having to just interact with so many people in the span of like 2.5 days. So I thought that was really amazing, but also like Caitlin and Alice said, it was like the moment in the closing ceremony where all the innies and outies were just like bawling their eyes out and music was playing in the background. And I kind of just like, I was just there and I was like, so this is what Key Club is. Cause I didn't fully understand like why Key Club was so meaningful to so many people. But then after like hearing everyone talk about their own experiences, I thought that was very inspiring. I thought it was very emotional. So it was really great.
All right, our last question is, what are the benefits of attending DCON in person if you're able to do so?
Oh man, what a loaded question. I'd have to say the first thing is that district convention is the type of event where you can really take away as much as you want from it. You take away as much as you can stand to take away. And so if you're going there for, just to hang out with other people, to meet new people, to go to the governor's ball, to get an opportunity to wear a really beautiful dress or a really sharp suit, and be amongst a bunch of other people that have a similar passion for service like you, that's something you can take away. If you're going there for wonderful leadership opportunities to network, to grow both professionally and personally, if you're going there to gain experience or to be more inspired, you can take that away as well. If you're going there just to give yourself a little bit of a challenge or to bring yourself a little bit of space for you to experiment with things that you've never done before or that you've never experienced before, DCON is also your place. I think with a convention of, historically DCON has been over 2,000 attendees, and you don't realize the enormity of that, the magnitude of that, until you've stepped into the convention center and you're surrounded by tons of people that are all here for the exact same thing. And so DCON is this larger than life opportunity that you really don't get to experience in quite the same way just from sitting at your screen. I was lucky enough to have served on the executive committee last year, so I was able to be part of the in-person committee that was at District Convention in Seattle, while all of the other attendees were there virtually. And while it was fun, it was not quite the same. And I would definitely say if you can attend DCON in person, you really, really should. It's totally worth it. It's a once in a lifetime, or hopefully 4 times in a lifetime for all of our underclassmen here. Hopefully COVID doesn't happen again and we can keep doing this in the future. But it's really a larger than life surreal experience that I can confidently say has the power and the ability to toss up the course of your life forever. And so I would really say don't miss it. And especially with this year being such an important year for upholding our spirit and our traditions and our energy and our inspiration and some of the things that really make Key Club, I would definitely say to be part of that historical moment and to be part of that historical experience by attending DCON in person.
Yeah, I completely agree with Alice. I think she put it beautifully. The Key Club spirit in person is really unmatched, and getting to attend in person means you get to witness that firsthand. While it can still be communicated virtually, obviously it's a different format, and it really doesn't translate the same way to being there and physically meeting people, because those connections will really last you a lifetime. Once again, bringing back me and Tara, like I would not have met Tara if I did not attend that workshop at DCON, and we wouldn't have had that foundation, which would then lead to such a wonderful relationship that we got to serve together on the district board with. So it just shows that getting to attend in person, make those connections face to face, can really lead to positive changes in your life, which you won't realize at the time, but will really, really come up and show its benefits later on. Also, the in-person experience of caucusing, witnessing candidates can motivate you to become a better leader, can help you bring back so many impactful things to your club, and can motivate and inspire the rest of your club to continue their service and to have a really great end of the year event to look forward to, and to inspire more service hours and more participation from your members in general. So I think that if you do get the opportunity to go in person, I would wholeheartedly encourage you guys to, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there.
So like what was already said, I'd say that attending DCON in person is an amazing experience, and I would definitely recommend it too. And being in person gives you more opportunities to meet new people in the Key Club community, which is a huge reason why I enjoyed it so much. And although you can still meet people online, it's just not quite the same. And I also prefer in-person conversations over Zoom meetings. It can also be harder to focus on keynote speakers online. So when you're in front of someone, kind of like how school lectures are better in person, I'd say DCON in person is a very enjoyable experience. So you should make it if you can.
Yeah, so I think one of the like better benefits, I mean, they're all good benefits, but it's like a benefit that I think is really important to myself is like when you go to DCON, it's usually like more encouraged for officers to go. So it's like when you go, you get this opportunity to become a lot closer to the officer board. And I think that really helps with like the functionality of the club. Because it's like you're away from your parents, you get to spend like a couple nights without parental supervision, and you're just like with your officers. So like for me, it's like my officer board, most of them are like my best friends that I've grown up with. So it's like we already have that connection, but I'm looking forward to making that stronger at DCON this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, panelists. Everyone show some love in the chat for our panelists. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Yes, yes. Okay. Now you have a chance to ask any questions. Feel free to unmute yourself or type your question in the chat. All right, we have a raised hand. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering if we are planning on maybe running for like the what do you call it, like officer position on DCON. Like, is there any things information on the website or something like that?
Yeah, actually, election packets will be released on October 15th, which is a Friday and about 2 weeks from now, and they'll have all the information about the district positions you can run for.
Actually, I'll go ahead and elaborate on that a little bit more. The offices that are up for election at district convention are executive office, which means district governor, district secretary, district treasurer, and district editor are open for election at district convention, and they are voted on by the House of Delegates. If you're interested in running for international board, you also must be endorsed at district convention by our House of Delegates. Those are the positions of Key Club International President, Key Club International Vice President, or International Trustee. And to do that, to be endorsed or to run for any executive office, you must fill out some paperwork. You have to attend extra meetings and be at things and jump some hoops. And all of that information is detailed in the elections packets that will be released on October 15th. If there is anyone in this room that is interested in running for higher office, either lieutenant governor, executive office, or international office, please attend our Running for Higher Office webinar in December. You'll see information about that sent to officer Google groups, as well as posted on the PNW Key Club Instagram at PNW Key Club. You can also check up on our website for more information about our upcoming webinars and events as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Alice. If you have any more questions, please direct them and email them to convention@pnwkeyclub.org. As promised, everyone who registered and attended this webinar will be placed in a drawing for free DCON registration. I will be pasting a Google form in the chat where you can mark it. So please fill that out as soon as possible. We will also contact the winner by Monday, October 4th. Also, if you haven't already done so, please remember to register for the Growing Your Membership webinar on Thursday, October 7th from 7 to 8 p.m. Representatives from the MDRC Committee, the Membership Growth and Reactivation Committee, will be presenting a number of new resources to help your club achieve its membership goals and interviewing past club officers to share their successes and answer your questions. Remember, if your club was inactive during the pandemic and sends at least one representative to attend, your club will be entered into a raffle to receive free membership dues for the 2021-2022 year. You can register now at the link in the chat. All right, before we leave, here are some important dates to put on your calendars. On Friday, October 15th, the registration packet, election packet, and award forms will be released. Be on the lookout for their release through Instagram and our Google groups. As a reminder, registration will close on Tuesday, February 1st at 11:59 p.m. All candidate and award forms must be also submitted by this deadline. Finally, DCON 2022 will begin Friday, March 11th and will conclude Sunday, March 13th. We are incredibly excited for DCON 2022 and hope you are too. Thank you all for taking time out of your Saturday evening to attend the Call to Convention webinar. If you have any other questions, feel free to email convention@pnwkeyclub.org. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you.